we had a seasoned pretzel, our original spice that we made for our kids for years. My girlfriend and I made it. And it's the kind of thing that many of you or your moms or grandmas had sitting on the counter, and they just love, people ask for it. Their friends ask for it. They went off to college and they started saying, send us pretzels, and their friends started eating them, and their soccer team started eating them before they got out of town. And one of them said, you should start selling these. Our friends would buy it. So I left a position as COO about 2 years ago, and I started kind of playing around with the ideas of what I wanted to do next. So they said sell it enough times, we went for it. We started with some founding principles. We're going to test the market and see if strangers like this snack food, as well as our friends and family, because that's the true test. If somebody you don't know, outside your loyal followers will love it or not. And we're going to be open-minded to all the possibilities and opportunities. We did not come out of the food industry, so we didn't know anything about food, margins, distribution, but we had some, so we came out of other industries, and I can tend to be opinionated. So that's really my philosophy that I remind myself about. And to stay true to our values of faith, family, and fun, and really if we, and we've said this often, if we didn't enjoy what we were doing, we were going to change course and not let this venture control us and try to stay in control of it. And we have to remind ourselves a lot of that because we've had a really successful year. We were just awarded Emerging Business of the Year by the Independent Economic Development Council, and we're really humbled by that. But we've had a lot of growth and support this year. I teach business courses. I've led businesses and I consult, and we always say, ask yourself first, what's the problem in the marketplace? So we're selling a snack food, we're selling a seasoned pretzel. And I had a hard time getting my head around what's the problem. So I think of it as what's the hole in the marketplace. We definitely have a product that people like and started asking more. And so the hole in the market was a low-fat alternative to chips, other snacks in the marketplace. And people seem to really connect to the family-owned local, shop local business, and we've had a lot of support because of that. So who are we and what are we? We have 3 pretzels. It's a mini twist in the back. Please have a sample. We brought our original spice, which is the ones our kids and friends and family loved. We call it a little bit of heat. It tends to be highly addictive. We put that on the label because that's the most commonly heard thing that we heard from consumers. So then people started asking us for more heat, so we created extra spicy, so we added some heat. I don't personally like it, but my husband tells me not to tell people that. It's pretty hot. And then we had people asking for no heat, and we created something sweet. We partnered with a local Kansas City barbecuer, competitor, and used his rub, and we partnered together to get a smoky sweet flavor, which has become our second largest seller in a short time. We're releasing this ranch next week. So we came into this venture to say we're going to throw a lot of stuff on the wall and see what sticks because we're trying to stay open-minded. So we are in exploring a lot of options. This is a demonstration of retail. Retail, and I'll show you a chart in a minute, has been our biggest distribution channel. Convenience stores, bars, wineries, golf courses, concession stands. Our online, we have a website, we sell a couple online. We have not put a lot of focus and effort into our online sales, really because that's a constant, as you know, as small business owners, you're constantly juggling and prioritizing opportunities. So that has not been our biggest, we haven't put a lot of effort there. On the far left, you see a different label. We have some corporate private label that we've done where we allow a company to brand the front, we brand the back, giving it as corporate gifts or Christmas gifts or gifts to clients. And we've done some festivals and events. Festivals and events tend to bring in high margins and dollars, keep the machine rolling. But our long-term strategy is not necessarily to focus only on direct-to-consumer. fundraising and doing some ventures where you get a nickel on the dollar for students. So we tried to create a fundraising package that we had 5 groups test this year so that their kids could get significant dollars for the effort. So that's a personal favorite, but we're still growing it. So as far as our customers, we have 2 customer bases. We're a wholesale manufacturer, so retail outlets, number 1. Number 2 is our end user who eats these pretzels. We think anecdotally that it's about 18 to 15-year-olds. I believe that men eat more of them and women buy more of them, based on just anecdotally what we see at events and what we hear. So as far as where we're at number 1 is bars. We started on Valentine's Day a year ago, and we had some friends that tried them out in local bars and retail stores. Wineries was a surprise to me, so when I say that I'm trying to stay open-minded, I would never have approached a winery about buying a spicy pretzel. There was a hole in their tasting rooms for something to match with semi-sweet wines. So we're in almost many wineries on the Missouri side of the line, on the west side of Missouri now, all the way up to Weston in Smithville. So those are our customer bases. And quickly, you can see that we've grown. This is units produced from our first day at Valentine's Day a year ago, so we've continued to grow. And I'm going to flip through these because of time. Competition. Anybody that spends $1 and they're not spending it on a Spicy Guys Pretzel is what we consider a competition, broadly. And our strategy is retail growth, and long-term strategy is to partner, not to create a large manufacturing facility with 100 employees, but to partner with distributors and co-packers. So I'll come back to our problems. So that's Spicy Guys.
Great, thank you. Let's go ahead and get started with our panelists.
Yeah, I'll start with a question. Thank you for telling this story and kind of painting the picture. So I think it's always important to kind of ask the question of what's the goal? It sounded like you wanted to build a brand without letting the brand take control of you guys. So it doesn't sound like you're going for a huge growth opportunity. Can you talk through that a little bit more? Kind of, where do you see yourself in a year, in 3 years? And kind of, is it a lifestyle business, or are you looking to maybe something else?
That's a good question, because we had some internal differences in our relationships as we grew the company. I'm not interested in a lifestyle business or a hobby business, and there's nothing wrong with that. So a lot of small food businesses, you make something that people love and you want to go to festivals and you want to do it on the weekends, and that's great. That isn't what we've decided to do. So we're growing strategically through retailers, Kansas, Missouri, and North. That's our immediate Midwest footprint that we're focused on growing, and that's through retail distributors.
So if you go back to the chart before this one, where it shows the efficacy, or at least the volume of each one of your sales channels, that one, which one of those speaks to kind of the retail channels, and how do you see that working?
C-stores here and grocery stores is small. We have not purposefully approached grocery stores. Early on we did, and there's a real, our package didn't compete very well against 12-ounce Snyder's on the shelf and Frito-Lay shelf space. So we have backed off from that intentionally, but are looking at that over the next year. So it would be this market. You're going to see that bars and wine rooms are a huge part of our business, and it's just, and honestly, a local bar in the right place will buy as much as a convenience store per month.
So I guess my first question would come on the side of manufacturing or cooking or whatever you want to call that. How are you doing that right now? And if you randomly got an order of 5,000 bags of whatever, how are you going to scale that? Can you scale that?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you. So we live in Cass County. The first call we made was to the health department in Cass County because we didn't know anything about the food industry, and it made common sense. They directed us immediately to Jackson County to the Innovation Center in Independence, which is a food business incubator. If you're not familiar with it, it's a nonprofit developed by the Independence Economic Development Council and School District, and it's housed in the Independence Regional Hospital, the old Independence Regional Hospital at Truman and Forest. 5 commercial kitchens, packing area, dock, warehousing. You pay for the time that you need it. So it was a really a godsend for us because we get resources, we have facilities as we needed. If we needed to go in 24/7, we could, and there are 5 kitchens. So our plan on growth and how to handle growth is hiring. We've identified people that we would hire to help immediately if we needed support in that fashion. We're buying semi-automated equipment in May to be delivered to that facility, and we've identified a co-packer option when we got to high enough volumes.
Also, as of January 1st, this is what I do full-time. So production, sales, delivery, and we are actually working with one other person who is going to come on board and help with delivery. That way we can focus more on sales and then also in the production.
You can see the impact of that effort with the sales growth after January as well.
Okay. I guess my follow-up question would be on the sales side. How are you going about getting those sales? Are you going store to store, door to door, whatever you want to call that? Are you making calls? How are you handling that? And geographically, is there a plan behind that?
It's very diverse in the market because on the Missouri side versus the Kansas side, you see more high-end, like bars you saw was a large sales right there. On the Missouri side, there's more of the mom and pop bars. On the Kansas side, it's more of your corporate restaurant bars which sell food. The places on the Missouri side, we're able to get into those much easier. Plus, they stop selling chips. They go, we like these, we like the idea it's local owned, we go there. Other sales-wise, we're getting calls almost every other day. We're getting people, and it's through awareness. Once they try, oh, these are interesting. At the venues that we've done, the Home and Garden Show, it's to get our brand out there. And once they find it, and through 3 shows, we've gotten 2 other major distribution channels. And also, one place I stopped with, the owner of that actually distributes for another major brand that wants to take us on too. It's just growing a lot by word of mouth too.
Yeah, I think that Jerome has been our really most significant salesperson, knocking on doors, knocking on bars, and giving samples. Our tactic has been to give samples. When people eat them, they tend to buy them, and we have pretty successful. We're pretty successful at that, but we do have people calling us. Westlake's purchasing manager saw us at a show, gave us this card, called us, and we're going into all of the Kansas City Westlake hardware stores next month. With the opportunity to go national, I just wanted to test that market first. We had Hy-Vee Distribution Center salesperson call us, and we had a broker that represents small businesses to Hy-Vee Distribution Center call us. And we've had a military distributor that represents small businesses to every commissary exchange in the military network call us. So.
I guess this is more of a quick comment. It sounds like you're testing a lot of sales channels. They're going to have different margin properties, different sales cycles, things like that. It would be interesting, and I'm sure maybe this is something you've already done, to visualize each one of those and then see strategically which one or which 2 really get you to where you want to go.
Right.
And kind of talk about that.
Okay. So we do have a matrix that demonstrates every one of these outlets, as well as fundraising and private corporate label and festivals events. So we have a matrix of our goals for the year based on past sales and growth history per month, and are projecting a 5 times growth this year, and we are actually on target to be at that point in April. So.
Okay, let's open it up to our studio audience. Toby? No? Okay, we got it back here in the back.
Do you mind talking about pricing, like your retail, your wholesale, your product cost, and if you go to a co-packer, is that going to lower your product cost?
Yeah, so one of our biggest challenges is lowering our cost of goods until our volumes get high enough in order to bring that down. So I never expected that buying pretzels in bulk was going to be a challenge, and it's been our biggest challenge. So we are now at minimum volumes for large pretzel manufacturers. They want 2,000 pounds minimum order, and we're at that point. However, we got to get them to call us back. So we're going to a co-packer, or we're partnering with someone helps us get our foot in the door where we may not be able to now on our own. As far as our pricing, we retail the small. We give a recommended retail price. The small 2.5 ounce package sells for about $1.49, $1.69 in stores. We sell it for $1.04. And our large bag sells for $2.50 and retails for $3.50 to $4.
Question in the center.
First off, it's great to see a company that's doing more than just getting out from behind the keyboard and working through all the different avenues instead of just focusing on making a web store and nothing else. But one of the questions that I had is, your package, your pretzels are your biggest way to make people like your product. They try it, they like it. Do you have on maybe the back of your pretzel bags, hey, do you like it? Buy some, here's our phone number. Hey, do you have a bar? Would you like to buy pretzels? Contact us. Written onto your package so that even if you're not there, even if the bartender's not talking to them, they still know where they can get some or how they can do it?
That is actually our next step. Tammy contacted a company yesterday and confirmed we are going to a pre-printed bag, because everything right now, apply the label on the front, apply the label on the back. It's very time consuming, and cost-wise, we found we're up to the volumes where it's cost-effective to go to a pre-printed bag. We're in the design stage on that, starting actually yesterday, and with that note is the best idea. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a quick question here in the center. Have you contacted any of the local beer manufacturers / bars like Casey Beer Co. or Beer Station? It seems like pretzels go nicely with beer, especially early in the morning.
Right, and they do. Our difficulty is, as we are small, I look at small market, medium market, large market. Once we get this co-packing, this machine to help us go from filling 140 an hour to 600 to 800 an hour, then our time is spent less on the production and more out on the streets knocking on doors. Our difficulty is we are limited on, with me doing deliveries 2 to 3 days a week, production 2 days a week, and then as I'm going out meeting and then trying to follow up with sales. So once we get production up, then we can knock on more doors.
Question for Wright.
Could you go to your problems slide? I saw some nerdy stuff that I got excited about. I went through it really quick.
I did.
The shelf life issue is going to be taken care of with the pre-painted bag. With clear bags, any light on any food product deteriorates shelf life. We've done shelf life testing with K-State, and that's going to overcome that, and we can actually double our shelf life from 4 months to 6 to 8 months.
Could you talk about gross margins specifically, not taking into consideration your infrastructure costs? Because it seems at your price point, you may be selling yourself a little bit short. High quantity product that's locally made, people will pay more for that.
So that's a good point. We had 2 strategies we could approach. We could take this product, package it into a specialty item, and price it at a high dollar. That was one option. We looked at the second option was keep it into something where we can go higher volume in every gas station in town and bars. And to do that, we can't get the same price point. We're not Gardettos. In fact, to get our price, to be trying to compete on the shelf with a more mainstream. So our strategy intentionally has been lower margin, higher volume, more widespread.
have a question over here.
Yes.
Since this is food and taste, and it's a subjective thing as you have friends and family taste them and tell you what is good or not good, how have you made the choices on which flavors to go with?
That occurred through when we were at events. People said, oh, this isn't hot enough. You get the guys that come up, oh, I eat ghost peppers, da 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 da. They want that one-time burn. Well, then we went to added heat, but we designed the flavor with a heat without a burn still. Because if you're going to enjoy a snack, you don't want to have that back of the throat burn. You want to enjoy the snack. So that actually at events, the extra spicy has become number one. Then people said, of course, what do you do next? And then we came up with Smoky Sweet. We're coming out with Just Ranch. The biggest
All right. I like that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have some plans in my future that I'm wanting to do maybe some online sales or, get our products in other places. So when I see the video, I see things that maybe we could be doing here that might be a little bit different. Will anyone have any comments about the video?
It's amazing that we got that live feed. I love that.
Yeah, that was my opinion.
That was live feed, right? That was good,
Yeah.
yeah. For those of you that were here at the beginning doing that. I liked, there were some things in it, and I actually kind of, I guess my suspension of disbelief is strong because I'm like watching them, and, I was right there in the room with them, listening to them, but talking about like the packaging and stuff, we all that have, something, I don't sell a product like that, but I do send out a lot of information, and I got some things out of it just about, what I could say to people to make them think, oh yeah, I need this, is this something, the one question that the guy asked about, did you think to put on here, hey, if you have a bar, call us and you can use our product. So always make sure that you have labeling and stuff where people can find out who you are and how to get in touch with you. Because you never know when they might want to take your barbecue